Hi, Mark Diaz here for 2danimation101.com. In this lesson, I'm gonna show you how I created the background. I'm gonna show you the final background and then all the layers I used, and then how I used the reference from the Louvre, the Mona Lisa in the Louvre, the real museum. And something important to note is that I'm not gonna walk you through the whole process because we have another course called Backgrounds and Assets for Animation with no drawing skills. Okay, in which I teach you how to take any picture and then transform it into a drawing that you can use for animation. So I'm gonna show you how I applied those principles to transform this photo into a drawing. By the way, if you want to follow along and you want to see this and check all the layers I used in this file, you can just go to the project files. In there, if you just go to Photoshop, you will find Mona Lisa scene. If you open it, you're gonna get this file. For this image, I just went to Google and searched for it. And then I put it here in Photoshop, and my scene, I don't want it to start like this. So I just made a replica and did a little zoom in. Not zoom in, I just make the image bigger, okay? And then all I did was apply what I teach in the backgrounds course and created my own version. So let me walk you through to all the elements I used. First, I started with a background, just a color in which I just added a little bit of shading, because if you take a look at the picture, let me show you, there are a couple of tones. Sometimes the wall gets a little bit darker on the edges. Can you see? It's because of the lighting. So I just did that. On the corners, I just added a little bit of a darker tone. And then I added the wood. This little wood we have here, I just added a little wood texture, and then I added the bars. Let me show you which bars. These bars, actually, I'm gonna show you the zoomed image. These bars, I just created my own, those two, and then in the middle we would have the Mona Lisa, right? So I just added that square, and then this marquee that I got from Adobe Stock. And then let's see if the Mona Lisa fits perfectly. I wanted the Mona Lisa, as you can see, this is an import. What I did was take the image of the Mona Lisa that we worked on and put it in there. And then what I did was to take this frame. Let me take it. This frame was actually a little bit taller. So what I did was just make an adjustment so it fits perfectly. Then I created a duplicate of that Mona Lisa and put it on top and make it black. For that, you can just double click on the layer, not on the name and not on the image, but on the little space after the name, double click, and then you open the layer style, for which I just added a new style called color overlay. It's this one. And then I just choose the color black with opacity 100%. And then let me zoom out, pressing Ctrl 0. And then I needed a little bit of shadow. This is not looking good because it's not blending correctly. So I just needed a little bit of shadow. If you look at the original image, there's a little bit of shadow cast from the Mona Lisa. So I just added a new layer below all of that and added that little shadow. And then shadow for the wall, to add a little bit from these bars. And then I wanted the texture, so I just got a texture. This is an image, right? And then I just blended as multiply. I made it black and white and then blended. All of this is taught in the backgrounds for animation. And then, as you can see, the inside of the wall where the Mona Lisa is a little bit darker. So I just duplicated a little bit of the background color, duplicate it, and then make it darker. That's it. And finally, I just added a lower shadow. That's it. With all those elements, now we have a background for our scene. Again, if you want to practice, you can create all of this, or just take the elements, take this background, and that's what we're gonna use in the next lesson. Now, in the next lesson, we're gonna talk about how to produce the audio for your animation. Okay, in here we just needed a voice, that's it, and 2 soundtracks. One, it was the Renaissance track and the Renaissance music, because Leonardo da Vinci was in the Renaissance era, and the other one is the theme from Terminator. Now, for fair use, I just used like 7 seconds of the music, and that's it. Just so you can recognize it, and not the whole song because we don't have the rights, but because we're not using the animation, the final animation, it's not monetized. I used fair use, which is like 7 seconds or less. All right, so that's it for this lesson. See you in the next one.